Alright, so we are finally live. Welcome to my shop. This is my own personal Fender Stratocaster, and I am not going to talk a lot. I'm just going to dive in, and had a lot of interest in the electronic circuit in this guitar, and if you're lucky, you might have an opportunity to see that today, because the first thing I got to do is change out the volume pot. This thing has I've worn it out. It's got some glitches in it that with contact cleaner and the like I have not been able to solve the clicks that it's creating. So we will take care of that right out of the gate here, but I gotta get the strings off of it first, so be patient with me. I know this stuff is kind of boring. This is why I don't think a lot of guys do guitar repair videos, because it can be fairly time consuming. I use Ernie Ball Slinky 9s on it. The pickups in this guitar are a Super Distortion, a Chopper, and a PAF Pro. In the DiMarzio brand, and I love the pickups. I especially love the Chopper. It has a very unique sound, very high output. So give me just a moment here and we'll start tearing off the pick guard and getting inside the guts of my baby. This one wrestles with my SG for being number one. Hey, how you doing, Lord Spike? These strings are old. You can see the marks in them where I've been playing them. I've done I think I've done 2 complete gigs with it and several live streams. So those strings have a lot of hours on them. I usually don't leave strings in a guitar as long as I've left these ones in, but time constraints, vacation, blah blah blah, working on everybody else's guitars in the world. I haven't had an opportunity to change strings on her recently. So we're gonna do this again real quick. We're gonna clean up the fingerboard. I'm gonna clean it, treat it with linseed oil. It's been a couple of years since I've done that. It's about time. Let's see. Polish the frets. Obviously new strings. We're gonna do a full setup on this thing. Intonation, neck relief, all of that. I have a student arriving at 5 o'clock. I hope to be done by then with this whole process. So we'll see how quickly I can get things done. So here we go. We're going to dive in and start removing the parts on this guitar. And I want to be really careful with this pick guard. It's very fragile. It's broken in a couple of places, and I've had to be very, very careful with this thing and removing it. And it's only been off of this guitar, I mean, definitely a few times, but not a lot. Although the screws in this are all stripped out, which wasn't my doing. This guitar was given to me by a very close friend of my family, a guy named Steven, and he and my uncle played in bands together back in the 70s. They played in our backyard. In fact, his DNA is in me because they were playing music while I was in my mama's belly, and I was listening to them play music. And so he's a big part of my musical journey in life, whether he wants to admit it or not, and I think he would. He's a very cool dude. This is a 1978 Fender Stratocaster, and I just love this guitar. Hopefully my arm's right in the middle of the film here. Alright, so we've about got the pick guard off, and you are about, let me see, I'm going to pull, I should have done this first, but oh, that's alright. Well, I want to be really careful pulling these knobs. These are the original knobs, and I don't want to break them. They come off pretty easily. I'm just pulling that one. A lot of guck under there. I'm not removing anything with regard to any of that stuff. What's that? Okay, so I got to get that screw out of there also. This must be. Remember, before I do that, I just want to see if this thing will come up off of here without. No, that is going into the wood. I don't know why I put this extra screw in here, but I've had to alter the pick guard a little bit because it broke right here where the pickup screw is positioned. Trying to be really super careful here. This pick guard is fragile. Fragile. Alright. And I can't remember. I did not do build the electronics circuit on this. But this is the pot. And you know, I think I'm having second thoughts here, which I do quite often. Let's see, we don't have a whole lot of extra wire here. I always like to, there we go. Okay. Hope everybody's having a really great Tuesday. That's what it looks like. DP184, DP188, DP18, US patent. Boy, amazing how dirty those get after being in there. Yeah. This guy was good. The guy that built this circuit was a really, really good tech. He went to school, I believe in New England or someplace on the East Coast to become a guitar tech. So, okay. So before I do anything, let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, Preston. Yeah, so there's the electronic circuit. I've had people ask me about this circuit. So it is a, what is this? Yeah, it's a 6-pole push-pull on the push-pull portion of this, and then obviously the 3 poles on the tone control. And the capacitor for this tone control is right here, and I don't believe, I'm not sure, I think, yeah, they both tone controls are using this capacitor. So before I get crazy with regard to swapping out that pickup, I'm sorry, the volume control, I am going to use a little bit of cleaner. And let me turn the amp on. Hopefully my sound's a little better. And by the way, if you're watching a live stream of mine and the audio is having some trouble, like yesterday's, and some of you were watching yesterday and nobody told me that the audio was doing what it was doing, please share that information. Be honest when you're in online music communities and online live streams and things like that. If things aren't sounding right, I think most people really want to know if there's an audio problem. Yesterday it was like I had a noise reduction plug-in on my vocal mic, which I've turned off today, so it should be clean as a whistle, but there might be extra noise. We got air conditioning and stuff on. Please type in the comments if you're, or in the chat, if there's a problem. I am not offended by that. And if anybody is, when you tell them their audio is bad, they got a problem. So please share that information with me, because I can't hear the audio. So there you go. Yeah, and that's a what is the size of this cap? Okay, we'll get you pointed back down here in the business end of things. And one thing he did do is he installed the cap so that the numbers are on the opposite side, and that's kind of a, I don't know, if you work with electronics much, you always put the numbers for the reading for the capacitor, you always put that out where it's legible, or so you can read it. So I am going to let's see, I want to check and see how noisy this thing is. Put some overdrive on it. It's almost as if it's as if my amp isn't on, or there's no signal getting. Yeah, I got a cable unplugged someplace down here. Something. Come on. I got no. Probably the shitty cable that I'm using here. Well, what has happened? Yeah, I got no signal going to the amp. Hang on. Good grief. What's going on here? Okay. So if I unplug this. Yeah. So these, again, these shitty cables that come with guitars, really shitty, cheap guitars that you buy, or amplifiers, this cable is broken. What a piece of junk. I'm glad I'm using it and not a customer. Throw these away the moment they arrive in your new guitar and buy a good cable. Let's see. Alright, now we're back with a proper guitar cable that should work, and it does not. So maybe my foot pedal's broken. It is. It was not the guitar cable. Alright, so now I'm not sure how well you can hear that. I'm going to turn my amp up quite a bit. Here we go. So you can hear that little, alright? So I'm going to use some contact cleaner and lube / lubricant. And we're going to see if I can't fix this without having to put a new volume pot in here. It seems like I've tried to do this problem solved. Problem solved. I'm not sure how audible the little clipping sound that I was experiencing was there's a bunch of distortion on my amp. No more click. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Alright, so that problem is solved. There's nothing else on the interior of this guitar that I need to do. If you'd like to look at that electronic circuit, you can rewind the video and take a look. Wiping off the excess extra cleaner ended up on there, and I need to turn my amp off because I don't want to listen to that thing sit there and hum. Alright, it's making some noise. I'll turn that down and turn that off. Hope everybody again is having a great Tuesday. Yeah. So that was all there was to that. And oftentimes that's all it takes. If you have a pot that's dirty or giving you clicks or glitches or things like that, usually you can solve that with a little bit of contact cleaner. I use this stuff, as it were. I'm going to back this camera up a little bit so you can get a better view of the down onto what I'm up to here. There we go. Never use a power tool on a guitar, only on basses. I love it when the pickup or the screws that hold the pick guard in, if you got to really work on them to get them in there, it means the holes are really well drilled and the threads are all good inside there, so it's not going to go anywhere. Kind of nice. If you do pull a screw out of a pick guard and it's stripped, I do highly recommend repairing that by gluing a piece of a toothpick or something into the hole to take up that space. So this is given the fact that I don't have to swap out the volume pot, this is going to go a whole lot quicker than I had expected. And as I always say, every guitar I work on, I treat it as if it's my own. And I don't care, like that Ibanez that gave me fits this morning, which we still haven't come up with the end all, what we're going to do to solve that. But we will come up with something on that one and get it working again. There's a youngster that really wants that guitar, and we're going to do our best to get it to him. My co-worker is going to be looking for some pickups that he may have just laying around. He's only worked on like 18 million guitars in his career, so that's the deal with that. So I'm not going to change the volume pot on this. As I said, I'm not going to do that. Hey Hugh, there's my simple green. Borrow simple green, put it back. Simple green, where's my bottle of simple green? What in the world? I need to go ask. Hey Joey. Yeah? Do you know where that bottle of Simple Green went? Maybe. Okay. It's usually right under my bench there. Is it? Oh, wow. Of course. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. All right. There we go. Yeah, like I said, I don't really do anything different on customers' guitars that I or my own. There's no special tricks or anything that I do on other people's guitars that, or on my own guitar, that I don't do on other on my clients' guitars. They're all treated exactly the same, regardless of their value, anything like that. It's been a long time coming for this. Have not cleaned the fingerboard for quite some time. We'll grab a rag here. I'll put it up on there. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I know you're probably can't see the whole fingerboard, but that's not important. I'm just cleaning it right now. And a good old-fashioned toothbrush and some simple green is a really great way to get all of the DNA off the fingerboard. And I'm actually kind of doing this in the wrong order. I should have polished the frets first. So I'm going to end up having to clean this fingerboard one more time, doing the same thing, but we'll just make a preemptive strike here is what I like to call it. Right. This is going to look a whole lot nicer when it's all done. Right. When you do this, if you're doing it like I'm doing it, you want to be very, very certain to make sure, especially with simple green, that you get all of the simple green. Let me unplug this off of the back of the neck. If you leave drips down the back of the neck, it can discolor or stain the finish, in fact. So it's just such a really it's such a great cleaner that it does a great job on getting the stuff off of the raw wood. All right, so make sure if you use that process, go over the back of the instrument, and you see there's quite a bit of guck on that fingerboard. All right. Okay, so like I said, I failed to polish the frets. I know you probably couldn't hear me. So I'm going to use some semi-chrome polish, and I'm going to put a little bit on my rag here. I'm not going to the full extent of using sandpaper. I could certainly do that at this point, but I don't feel like these have been worn enough to need that kind of treatment. So I'm just going to go over it with this polish, and boy, I hope you can see the difference that this is making. I usually do this first and then clean the fingerboard, so that I'm not having to clean all the excess chrome polish or polish off of the fingerboard. But it's all right. It's my guitar. I can waste a couple of steps, I suppose. But normally I would do this first and then bust out the toothbrush and the simple green. That way I can get all this extra polish off the fingerboard, and it'll look nice and beautiful. I have a gig. It sounds like we're playing a gig this Saturday, so this guitar is going to look all shiny and new for that gig. It's always nice to have, you know, when you're playing on stage and you're under the lights and such, to have your frets polished like this, because the lights reflect. It looks really nice. It looks like you're taking care of your equipment and that sort of thing. It just is a really nice touch. And this isn't something that you like. This process that I'm using right now, using the semi-chrome polish, isn't something you necessarily have to do every single time you change strings. I mean, none of this you have to do every single time, but it is a nice little touch. It looks good on YouTube if you're doing live videos of yourself playing. And I may do a live stream this evening playing this guitar, probably. We'll see. I don't know, it's just haven't been playing a lot, so doing live streams kind of motivates me to play a bit more. I haven't been feeling real super creative as a guitarist. I haven't written anything or recorded anything for a while, so doing live streams keeps me on my toes, and I've been way more interested in the live performances. I'm having so much fun playing with the band that I'm playing with, and so that's been a focus of my musical journey on Earth, as it were. Okay, so I'm going to take my rag and wipe what I can off of here, and then we will hit it again with the toothbrush and the simple green. Knock all the excess stuff off of here and get it down to. But the board looks really nice. Kind of some interesting colorations going on here. Like around this fret, you'll notice there's this little kind of a light color. I don't know why that happens. I don't know. Okay, let's waste some more paper towels here. Alright, so we're getting close to putting strings on this thing and checking the setup. And actually, before I do that, I am going to flatten out the fingerboard like I do with most guitars, which means I may need to take the neck off of this. I can't remember how easy that truss rod is to get at. I altered the body of the guitar so that I could turn the truss rod without removing the neck, and that was at an earlier age of life where I thought, hey, that sounds like a good idea, and it's actually totally unnecessary. There's a big divot right here in the net, or at the neck pocket. That was just me being dumb. But it's my guitar, I can do what I want, right? It actually was a good idea, but we'll see how well it works. Alright, so now the neck's been cleaned twice. We'll just get some more guck off of here. Look at those frets just shining like a diamond. It looks so nice. What's that?
Oh, it's the rest of Joey. Oh. Are you missing a Diet Pepsi?
Ah, is that on the dumpster? Or the, yeah.
I'll just grab it for you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I had my coffee and a Diet Pepsi. I was going for caffeine overdose. See here, you can see there's some simple green, and if you leave that on there, it will discolor on the finish. So you want to make sure to go over the back of the guitar as much as you do the front or the top of the guitar. Cool thing about this one is it never needs to actually be cleaned. Like this, I never have to do that. Oh, and here's a piece of tubing that I used on that Ibanez today to make the string tree. Right? On a locking nut. Interesting, there's some stuff I'm seeing here. It's almost like there's glue from the fret work that was done. I want to see if some of that will come off of here. Let's see if it's... I'm mistaken. No?
There's a delicious beverage.
Hey, thank you.
No problem.
You are a gentleman and a scholar.
Wow, listen to them lies. Good at that.
I know.
We all love classical guitar restrings, don't we?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Especially on old guitars. They're always knotted up like that.
Yep.
Joey will get it. He's a master.
I know Joey loves changing strings on those. Favorite thing.
Yep, he loves it.
Alright, so while I'm waiting for the glue to dry, ultimately, or the simple green, we'll do the typical process you should do every time you change the strings on one of your guitars, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
This man taught me everything I know.
How to be lazy bum? Make sure the machine heads are tight and they're functioning correctly when you don't have string pressure on them.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Tighten up all these
Because
set
there's
screws.
nothing worse than having a malfunctioning machine head. And a lot of people don't realize if you don't keep those tight, sometimes the gear will climb up on the other gear because it'll go so far in that it'll actually thrash the gears. And
Yeah.
then once it's if it's a steel tuner like that, then you're screwed.
Yeah, and I've seen them where where you're spinning this thing and it'll push the back out of a. It's like pushing down. I don't know if that has anything to do with that being.
Well, sometimes it's just when they manufacture them, the gear will not be on the shaft very well, and then when they bind it all, it'll force the gear off that shaft, and then you got basically an exploded machine head. And I've seen every possible combination of broken machine head over the years. And them are decent machine heads. You don't want to.
Yeah, these things are. Is that my screwdriver?
Yeah.
You don't have you need to get one.
Yeah,
I have one, but it's too small for this.
Oh. You get another one.
Yeah. You need to borrow a bigger screwdriver there, Joey? I think you're going to need actually a number 2.
Yeah, probably.
There you go.
I think Marshall has a number 2 that would work.
Is that the right one?
Yeah, they'll give you a little bit more leverage. And them screws, is the tuner not functioning correctly?
It's way too tight.
And once you get it loose, then you want to put a little lube on it.
Yeah.
Any kind
Ooh,
of.
we like lube.
Yes. If it's stuck, that makes you mad. Lube it first.
Yeah.
So get some slide oil or valve oil or anything like that will work just great. Yep, the old magic purple. I love that. That
You
oil.
don't have any more of it. That is the last of it that we've got.
I think I have some out in the shop if you run out. Because that's my favorite.
We used to have bottles of that stuff, but since
Cat stuff is hard to get. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is awesome.
Did that work better?
Yeah.
I would just make sure they're nice and free. That way you don't break the buttons. That's what happened to that other one. Is I'm sure it was so tight that it bound up and broke the button off.
The button broke off when they were trying to tune it or something.
Yeah.
That's a.
Don't they turn a lot nicer when they're the right tension and they have oil on them? It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, it works like it's supposed to, you mean?
Yeah. It's amazing how sometimes people think tightening those screws make the tuner better. It actually makes it worse. You want to tighten up where the screw doesn't fall out, but you don't want them so tight that they're binding. Because a lot of machines are not made, they're not really super high precision sometimes to mass produce.
Yeah. The gears aren't necessarily perfect. Typically
now, if
on
they
those.
were good old Chowlers or something, Godos or something, yeah, you want to tighten them down, and they work perfect because they're cut correctly. Are those the Japanese Fender machines that are on yours?
These, I could not tell you. They are unmarked. No, they're Godos.
Oh, they are. Them are the good ones, yeah. Them are the 18-to-1. They're really smooth and fine.
Yeah. Yeah, tuning this thing is a piece of cake.
Yeah, that's some of my favorite machines.
Very smooth and.
Yep.
Boy, that fingerboard, look at that. That's what this
Wow, it's
supposed
all
to
back
look
to one
like.
color again. It's not a combination of gray and chalk and cocoa mix. And
Yeah.
it's funny how bright the dots are once the board's clean.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Good
I'm
guitar.
trying to decide if I should flatten. I kind of want to start at ground zero on this thing. I'm thinking about flattening the fingerboard. It might be already. I don't know. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
can
gonna
flatten
start.
it and then give it a. But remember, it's a heel adjust, so.
Yeah.
And yours, but lucky you have enough pick guard miss in there that.
Yeah. I drilled that out like a dumbass at one point. I actually did do that. That's-
Well, shoot. You know.
So this back bowed right now.
Yeah, that's a pretty springy neck, by the way. It's pretty springy. You have very little relief in it when the strings are on it, but that's the way it liked it. Because remember, we adjusted that 3 or 4 times. It took me 3 weeks to get the neck adjusted. So.
I recall. Okay, so we're gonna. So I've got some on this thing. I've got back bowed on it, which means the truss rod is over tightened with no strings on it. So I'm gonna loosen it.
That one was tight. But
Yeah.
you might need me to put back bow on the neck so you can actually loosen it.
No, it's going now.
Oh, is it turning now?
Yeah.
Because that one was stiff. I remember that.
Yeah, I had to. It was cranked down, and just that little move. That little tiny move right there. That was all it took.
You got about a quarter of a turn? Not even that?
Maybe less than an eighth.
Mhm.
It barely moved.
Yeah.
All right, so now I've got the fingerboard all. It's perfectly flat now. So I'm doing that because I'm going to recheck the intonation. I can see that some of these saddles, rather than being perfectly flat or level with the top, they're kind of rolled and stuff moves. You got strings rattling on this thing, vibrations. These move. They will.
Isn't that the guitar that the string block was replaced?
Yeah, I put a Callahan.
Yep.
I think new bridge on this.
Yeah, it had some issues with the tremolo arm, I think, at one point.
Yeah, no, that was a different. This thing's been, even the old bridge was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. But I think,
There was some issue with the block.
yeah, maybe
I don't remember if the threads were getting goofered.
the threads were stripped out.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's why I did it. Yeah, the threads in the arm got stripped out. That's what it was.
Very cool guitar, though.
Yeah.
Good player's
I
guitar.
I still have that old. It survived the fire, and I got it. It was in a puddle of water, but.
Yeah, that's always good for stuff, isn't it?
Let me see some nines. Oh, I gotta go grab strings. I'll be right back.
Done. Only 2 strings you need.
It's the dominant 7th interval.
Beautiful.
Is it?
Gotta love it.
Let's see. Thanks, Rody. Hey, good to see you, Mike. Okay. So we're using the good old slinkies, super slinkies, 9 to 42s on my guitar. That's what I've been using for quite a long time now.
I think you should say 9 to 42 on the Strat. Is there any other gauge?
Is there any other gauge that people use? People use a different gauge on these?
Yeah, I love that guitar.
Yep, thing's pretty durable, pretty reliable. And you know, I really, my goal today, I was gonna swap out the volume pot, but it doesn't need it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just shot some cleaner in it.
Yeah, put your magic juice to it.
Which I thought that I had done that before, but maybe I didn't. But boy, it was making noise at the gig the other day. That's when I went, okay, before that thing gets plugged in at a show again.
Yeah, it's frustrating to have a noisy control.
Yeah. And it was very pronounced. I don't know, probably the electricity at that venue or whatever. But boy, it stood out like a sore thumb. I ended up using Scott's spare guitars, and it worked perfectly. It needs to be set up so bad though. It was hard to play, but it sounded great.
Was it the humbucker Jag?
It's exactly the Jagmaster.
Yeah.
I think he calls it a Jagmaster.
Yeah, I know the guitar.
Yeah.
Is it the metallic one?
Exactly like his silver, yeah, that flaky looking one, but he bought a red version of that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, not a horrible guitar. It does need some
No.
love though. Last time I picked it up, it felt unfriendly to me.
Yeah, I think he, what was I gonna say? I think that red one that he just bought, I think he paid $300 for.
That's a good price.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Gonna go ahead and put some Big Ben's nut sauce in the nut.
One of my favorite things. I love the Big Ben.
We love nut sauce. Stew tuning.
Yeah, let's do tuning.
All right. Get you up a little higher so you can see what I'm up to here. Get you a full bird's eye view.
I see you really went out of your way to clean this board up too, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
She just wanted to treat you dirty, so you can do whatever you want to do, there's fine.
How much are the strings?
Well, strings are $12 and put them on at least 15. Me and Mark will quit doing the $15 3 strings on classicals.
Yeah, no.
No more.
No. With Kent, we kind of went ahead and he was standing here watching you, but no. There's no string change for $15, and that's even if they bring their strings in. That's
Other than yesterday.
Yeah, that'd be the
that was an
that'd be the
exception.
last time.
Yeah, that was definitely an exception.
I would charge her at least $30, and that's being super, 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 super nice. Because I actually threw a part on there to be extra nice.
Oh yeah.
Because she's a good customer, but you know, to the point where you can't give everything away. You buy a $5 guitar at a yard sale, you're going to need to spend a little more than $5 to get it working. Looks like Marshall put a set of 2 strings on in your gate, haven't you, Marshall? Maybe we should have an extra $1 for every time you threw a set of strings on a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, I could go out to a pretty nice dinner right about now if I had that. At the most expensive restaurant in the world.
I was going to bring my Blazer down and let you play it.
Which one?
My old Ibanez Blazer.
Oh, yeah.
Real early 80s. It has Tomargios in it. And I refretted it with the same wire I put in that guitar except for a set of maple board.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a unique feel. I just thought it'd be fun for you to play on one of my favorite guitars ever made. Yeah, I had it all of 2 hours before I pulled all the frets out of it.
Yeah.
They were just, luckily they came out clean. They did. I had a good pair of narrow pullers and they came right out.
Yeah.
Sometimes that doesn't work that way.
Those pullers that I got, man, those things, they ain't no joke. they will get underneath some shit.
Yeah, I kind of I had a couple of them. I wish I would have had a little better puller, but most of them just fell out practically. Of course, I do something a lot of guys don't do. I glue the frets if the fret slots are sloppy at all. But I glue them in with glue. You can get them, the frets on if you have to. But that's why you don't have any dead frets on that guitar because they're all glued in. But it needed it desperately. Your slots.
Super glue?
No, I actually glued them in with the alphabetic resin.
Okay.
Because they were real sloppy slots. I mean, really sloppy. And I didn't want you having any plinker frets.
It hasn't had any yet.
Yeah, I wanted it to be stable for you. And I had that new fret press.
So is that glue potentially why there's these kind of shiny spots next?
There's probably right next to the fret. There might be a couple little. I try to clean it up really well, but once in a while.
Yeah,
But I used that fret press, and boy, they went in nice and clean.
You didn't just hammer them in?
No, I contoured every one of them on my contour machine, and then I pressed them all in with the press. But I had the neck off, so it was really easy with the press when you have the neck off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes quick work out of it when you have the right radius call to put them in with. I had to use two different ones on your board there. I think I pressed them in with a little bit more of a radius, and then I pressed the centers in, so it kind of locked the edges in. Yeah, I went and put one of them in the old-fashioned way and said, nope, this is not going to work. It was just,
the hammer in.
Yeah, it was planky, and I didn't like the sound of it, and so I got the glue and the press out and put them all in, and I think that very fret that I put in there first is on my bench at home as a reminder. Yeah, I really love that guitar. It's a great guitar. It's a good example of looks are deceiving.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling Joey about it. The reason this guitar looks like this is because the guy didn't want anybody to ever steal anything he owned again, because he got his shit stolen from him, like a bunch of shit, and this was the one thing that survived. Try and steal it.
There's no way to fake that guitar.
No. Anyone in the world would know whose it is. I suppose.
Well, I mean, it would be ridiculous amount of work to even try to fake it where it looked fresh. There's no way you're gonna make it look fresh.
Yeah. No. Easy. Yeah, you'd have to fill this whole thing. That would be a no fun at all. All right, so now we're moving on to the old setup. Got the strings on her. Let's see what our neck relief is doing. Oh man, it's a little bit shallow. It's a little bit shallow, but I'm gonna leave it because I doubt I'm gonna get any fret buzz. The neck relief on this is probably in the neighborhood of about 0.08 of an inch, is what I'm guessing. Yeah, 7 to 8 thousandths out in the middle here. So now I'm going to check my string action, and looking real good, but this saddle is a little bit crooked, so I'm gonna adjust that. Where's my... This is the correct hex key. Oh no, it's not. Hang on. This is the correct hex key. Oh yeah, that's the right one. I'm gonna go I'm actually going to try and do is lower the string action on this a little bit. More so than it was. So I'm going for 4/64, so I'm measuring at the 17th fret on a Fender shaped object. You don't measure at the 12th fret. You can, but Leo might have a problem if you did that at the factory. So, and I've leveled off this one saddle here. I need a very small movement. That was too far. Lowered that one a bit too much. And if you're wondering what that horrible sound is, it's a nylon string guitar being tuned. We love the sound of nylon strings. And you can see what I'm doing down here. I don't know if my camera guy was on the .3/64. This treble E string was the one that was really bugging me. The action on this has been a little bit high for quite a while, and so I'm now bringing it back down. You know, it's interesting how far I'm having to move that saddle, knowing where the string action has been. On this guitar, we'll see. I might be getting a little aggressive here with getting the string action low, but and again, when I'm making these adjustments, I'm keeping these saddles level with the top of the guitar. So let's see. Okay. Probably, what do you think? Probably should play it a little bit here just to see. I haven't done any intonation work on it yet, but we'll see. Let's see what's happening with her now. Okay. See how loud she is. Hi, Tim. First leg 67. So like I said, I was getting aggressive with the string action. Can't bend 3 frets on the treble E string. So I'm going to, again, I was very aggressive with lowering the string action on this guitar. So the string action is really super low. I'm going to check it, and 2/64 is a little bit low. And in fact, that type of string action is, to me, uncomfortably low. It just doesn't feel very comfortable to play it at that distance. I like to have to work a little bit to make a note happen. Let's try that. See if I can get I have to at least be able to get a 3 fret bend. Can't do it. I'm gonna go to 4/64, which is normal. Raise it up another 1/64 of an inch, just for the sake of argument. I felt like the string action has been slowly but surely getting a little higher. But not uncomfortable. Alright, tune her back up. Tune her back up and see what she does. sound pretty nice, pretty much like always. Pretty much like. You can't use a whammy bar on a Strat because your guitar will always go out of tune if you even touch the thing, right? That's what happens when you use a whammy bar on a Strat. Your guitar will never stay in tune. It'll never stay in tune. Just bypass the whammy bar. Bypass the whammy bar altogether. Just don't even put the whammy bar in your guitar, because it'll make your guitar go completely out of tune. Every time you touch the thing, Strats are just terrible. They're terrible guitars because they have a whammy bar like that on them. I don't even know why they bothered with that. I mean, they just go out of tune. If you touch your whammy bar on a Strat, they're gonna. It's weird to look at this guitar. It's so clean right now. My goodness, I'm looking down at the fingerboard. It's just a trip to see it so shiny and without all the goo on it. Yeah, but be sure not to use a whammy bar on your Strat, because it will not stay in tune. I mean, if you do this kind of shit with your Stratocaster, like you're pushing and pulling on it, and then you play an open, it'll most certainly be out of tune. Trust me on that one. Just trust me on that. I don't need to prove anything at all. If you own a Strat, just don't use the whammy bar. Oh, dude. Oh, good for you. It's nice to know that somebody got some redemption from thieves. Instrument thieves are almost the lowest form of life on Earth. Yeah, I live with my whammy, and been playing this guitar obviously for a lot of years, and just replaced it with a Callahan bridge, and thing works as good as the other one that I had in the guitar did, which was the original Fender whammy system in it. There was nothing wrong with it except for the threads were stripped out, and I went ahead and ordered a Callahan and just put a new one on here, and it's I don't know, I think it's been on this guitar for 3 or 4 years now. But just don't use your whammy bar on your Strats, because you'll hate yourself for it. The guitar will never stay in tune. And I'm not going to prove anything. I'm not. Yeah, Rhodey, Mike, you usually play a, you're usually playing a Les Paul. style guitar, which it's kind of weird going back and forth between the Strat and Gibson's guitars that don't have whammy bars. I miss them when I don't have them. I find myself, like if I grab my SG, I'll find myself reaching for it and like, oh, I don't have one. Grab the end of it and wiggle. The guitar or the whammy bar? Don't touch your whammy bar, man. It'll make your guitar go out of tune. I promise. No, I don't promise. Sarcasm right now is at a level beyond imagination. Okay, so I've done the basic fundamental setup, made a few small adjustments on this. It's been a while since I've worked on this guitar because it really doesn't need it, but I've been gigging lately and playing in standing up and then the performance when I'm moving and stuff. I've noticed a few things that I wasn't really happy about. Number one, the string action, which now I think I've settled that into where I'm going to be really happy with it. So now I'm going to do a very quick intonation check. Right? So I'm going to grab my I'm going to say a lot. I'm going to grab my Peterson strobe tuner and just see where my intonation is, because I've really been feeling, oh sorry, my cameraman's not following me, he's been drinking again I think. I really feel like the intonation in this guitar isn't correct right now. So I'm gonna let me try and put this, I want to set it up so you guys can see what I'm doing, because we got to be all inclusive here. So I'm hoping, yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, you can see that. Camera.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Do we have the right one?
No, I don't think so.
Did we order? Did you or did somebody order a bunch of those?
I
hope so.
I think that's just a screen. Is there any other one? I need one that's not a backup camera.
CCD video camera.
Do you need a bow tie, Chris?
I don't know what that is.
I need a what?
Do you need a bow tie camera? Because I have one that's for an install, but I can put that one, I can use that Boss camera on the one I'm doing Friday.
Oh,
All right.
I don't know.
Backup camera is a busy, big business. So I felt like the intonation on this guitar has not been
Oh, you need one with the little cut wire so you can reverse it? I don't have one.
very good, but that's dead on.
That'll work, use it, and then I'll just use that other one on mine.
I'm not expecting there to be any big discrepancy here, but
Flip mode.
Okay. Will that fix your problem?
I think it will.
I'm gonna steal this camera then.
I wonder if, let me see that camera. Actually, I have one of those. Because I wonder if I can mount this camera to that little bracket. Because I already put a hole in it.
All right,
We're a
let me
little
look at
sharp.
my stuff out in the shop too.
flatten that one just a subtle touch. This is what oftentimes if you play a guitar at a guitar shop and it just doesn't seem like it's in tune, even though you've got, it's probably the intonation, because this is the one part of setup work that I think often gets overlooked. Oh, and I need to use my... And also with the tuner, it's often best to use your neck pickup if you have that option. Tuners seem to be a little bit smoother. Okay. Boy, that's subtly sharp, but I'm gonna go ahead and move it because I can. Still a little bit sharp. Just subtle. And you might be watching this going, damn dude, you're being a dick about intonation on that guitar, because this is literally close enough that the adjustments I'm making are me being an absolute tuning snob. But the treble strings are where I felt like this guitar may have slipped. Yeah, and so overall I'm seeing that it's a little bit sharp. Just subtle. No big deal, it's not that bad. Subtle. Now I know there are guys out there that say never adjust your intonation with string tension. Okay. You'll break a string. Okay. There we go. So if you've never done an intonation on your guitar, this is how you do it. On a Stratocaster shaped object. That B string is dead on. Boy. Now be sure just remember, don't ever use your whammy bar on a Strat. Don't use it. Guitar will never ever ever stay in tune. And I know I'm being a dick about that, but I think it's funny that so many people love Stratocasters and they buy them with a whammy bar on them and they don't ever touch the thing. And what they're best, what I use them for the most, just as a playing, it has nothing to do with the guitar work per se. Let's say you come to the end of a song. I mean, that'll get you laid. Not that it gets me laid, but it'll get you laid, right? Yeah. good. It's clean and it's got new strings. So my own guitar setup. It's kind of how I do it, and the volume knob is totally silent. Ah, that's gold right there. Volume knob's totally silent, so I'm really glad about that. There you go. The ugly Strat is ready for a gig. It's supposed to have a gig this weekend, not sure. Last time we had a little trouble with the business paying us. We don't play for free ever, nor should anyone. Especially if you're playing at a bar or a restaurant or something like that. Bands that play for free are ruining the music scene in their cities and towns. Don't play for free, please. Demand something, preferably money, because you're really sharing a lot of time and effort for folks. I mean, unless you're going to do a benefit show where you're raising funds for something, but don't play for free. It ruins it. It ruins the music community around your city. There you go. Okay, let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's get that off. Turn that off. And turn that off. Let's see. Yeah, the guitar is just doing fabulous, playing fabulous. Feels like it always did. Did make a couple of minor, small adjustments, nothing major. So I'm glad y'all were here to join me. And let me finish the work. This is the last thing anyone should ever do when you're setting up a guitar. Don't do this until the very last thing you do, because if you don't do it, if you do this too early, I guarantee you will have to take the strings off of that guitar. I guarantee it. Oh, and be sure to never use your whammy bar on a Strat shaped object, because as you just paid witness to, your guitar will not stay in tune if you use it. Right? I just proved that, I think. I put a little Big Ben's nut sauce in the nut to help attempt to keep the guitar in tune when I use my whammy bar. Right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it really helps. You can use a number 2 pencil, put a little graphite in there. It works great as a lube. You should do that on any guitar, or regardless of whether or not it has a whammy bar on it. Which, if your guitar does have a whammy bar, you should probably not use it. Yeah, that's the stuff right there. Yeah, mine, I have a rolling string tree, so I don't have to they roll, so I don't worry about that. I didn't use any on, I've never used any on the saddles, not on this guitar anyway. It seems totally unnecessary. Because, you know, if you use a whammy bar on a Strat, you're a fool anyway, right? I just proved that, I think. I love being sarcastic. All right, you guys, have a wonderful Tuesday night. I have a student that's going to be arriving in about 15 minutes, it looks like. So I've got to get rolling. And we just set up 2 of his guitars for him in the past couple weeks. So I'm anxious to hear from him how he's feeling about how his guitars are treating him. Pole vault, Preston, Rody, Mike, Charlie, my knees hurt, Hugh, I think Justin Mai was in here. Yeah. I want you all to have a really wonderful day. If I missed you, please give yourself a hug from me and a pat on the back. And thank you all for joining me today. And let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. Everybody needs one of these. If you don't have one, you need to buy one, because we're all single. It's not like you got somebody to scratch your back, right? Peace, y'all. Have a happy Tuesday.